Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today we're checking out a 2025 Subaru Forester in the limited trim level. This vehicle is sitting on 225/55 Falken tires wrapped around 18-inch alloy wheels with a gloss gray finish. It also has four-wheel disc brakes with ventilated rotors on all four wheels. So this one is in the bronze color, and I think it looks pretty good, especially this style of vehicle. So it kind of looks like a brown, like a brown color, medium brown, depending on the angle and the sun. I really like what they did here with the front end. The grille is pretty sleek. You can see it's kind of rounded off here. And all this is enclosed right in here. So the opening spots are here, here, and there at the bottom. And the rest of it is kind of faced off. And the emblem there is contoured with the vehicle as well. And then you have these like gloss gray or silver pieces here with the gloss black there. The gloss black portion here that kind of underlines the whole thing. And the bottom is a matte black, but it also has these kind of inserts here. They're kind of interesting the way they look. Here in the front it's kind of odd, I guess, a little bit, because in the back they're kind of more associated with the exhaust, but it's kind of weird in the back as well. I'll show you in a few minutes. So you have the black bezels here and a projector headlights, LED. Then you have the LED fog lights as well. And I'm going to do a full night video so you can see how they perform at night. So this one has the EyeSight system. So it has cameras up here, one in the middle and one on each side, and they kind of triangulate and serve to accomplish the radar adaptive cruise control, which it doesn't have a radar, so it's just adaptive cruise control using the EyeSight system and the lane keep assist system. So it uses these. Looking at the profile, you can see the matte black that's here in the front goes around each wheel well and here on the side. Now we had that elongated section here, like that kind of weird thing that I saw on the front. It has it here on the sides and in the back. So it's like more of a design element, but it's I'll show you. Well, let's just get a look back here. Because you see it has two of them back here, but one of them the exhaust is poking through. So it's it's almost like there's supposed to be exhaust on that side, but it's covered up. So it has that. It's kind of interesting. And then they have an elongated one here on the side. But anyways, it does have the body colored handles, upper portion of the side mirrors body colored. The pillars here are a matte black, and then it has the matte black roof rails there as well. This is what the key looks like. It's a full proximity key. They've used the same key for a long time, the Subaru key, which is fine. It's contoured. It's a little heavy, but it's contoured and fits in your pocket nicely. So there's the lock button. The unlock is the blue oval, and then the panic button is there. But basically, you use the vehicle like this. You lock the doors with the sensor here, and you unlock it with putting your hand behind the handle. So that's pretty basic nowadays. And then it has the physical key location here on the driver's side only. The doors go all the way to the bottom of the vehicle, and there's actually a seal down there as well. So you can see where the dirt cut off there keeps this area relatively clean when the door is all the way down with that seal. The inside is mostly black interior. You can see a little bit of blue stitching here. This is like a simulated suede material with the blue stitching. This is a soft touch material here and here. All this is soft touch. It's like a vinyl type material is what it looks like. And then the hard plastics are here at the bottom. This is enclosed. You can utilize that as a pocket, but it's slick plastic on the inside so things slide around. Same thing with that pocket at the bottom. Right where your hand goes to open up the door is all gloss black. Power seat here on the passenger side. It goes up and down and tilt, and then you tilt the back here. So some passenger power seats only go forward and back and tilt. This one actually has a height adjustment as well. The seats also have this blue stitching here. Looking pretty cool. Gives a little bit of some color to the seats. These are heated seats as well. As the perforations there in the center. They have a little contour to them, but they are nice and comfortable. They're not too intrusive on your body and everything. So they're pretty decent as far as the comfort. There's a floor mat that's kind of like a Berber type carpet. Wide open space here, except for some tapering right in there. You can see where it tapers, but not too bad. This is a soft touch here, so in case your leg touches it, it's not a big deal. Non-locking glove compartment. Large, smooth plastic inside. Then you kind of have like this simulated ash wood right in here. And check it out, I really like this like a diamond texture going on right there. That's looking really nice. And then a kind of rubbery soft non-reflective dash. So you can see the opening here in the front is nice and wide, very easy to get in and out of the vehicle. The seat is a perfect height off the ground. I really enjoyed driving this vehicle because I can get in and out nicely. The height, the visibility, the comfort, the quietness, the suspension is really good. So when you get in, it's very pleasurable to drive, and part of it is the height and the ability to get in and out easily. And the swing of the door is perfect. Back here, same thing. Swing of the door is nice. You have lots of headroom, very easy to get in and out of. There is some tapering here, but not really a big deal considering the size of the vehicle and how much cargo space you have. It does have the privacy glass as well. So you have hard touch surfaces back here, here, and here. And this center insert right there is a soft touch material. And then you have a larger pocket there, and then a smaller one down there. You can see that part's kind of all enclosed here, so you don't drop anything under the seat easily. And it does have the latch system for car seats. You can see the attachments are right there, easy to get to, and there's no covers to take off or get in the way or anything. There's an armrest with cup holders, and these are nice and soft. So it has you can see the latch system. You can see one there, one there, one there, one there. So it has that center one as well. On the back of the seats, the front seats, it's soft touch, and it has kind of like a dual pocket system. So you have the pocket there, here, and then a little tiny one there for like a cell phone or something. It's kind of neat. And it's the same thing on the passenger side. And the floorboard is great. Look how much room you have. You have a very small hump in the middle, and it's flat on top. So even if you do have a center passenger, it's not really a big deal because that hump's not too big, and it's flat on top, so they can put their feet there if they have to. USB ports back here, USB-C, USB-A, also climate control vents as well. The fuel door is here on the passenger side, and it locks with the vehicle. When the vehicle's locked, it's locked. Hit the unlock button, it'll also unlock the doors, and the fuel door as well. So it has a fairly traditional cap, tether, and a little place to hang the cap here on the inside of the door. Take a look at the back of the vehicle. It has a shark fin antenna here at the top with the roof rails. And you see pretty substantial roof rails up there. The third brake light is at the top of the glass right in here. And that little spoiler, the rear spoiler. There's a rear wiper. Then you have the gloss black kind of accenting the taillights here. And we have a combination of LED and standard bulbs in the taillights. And I'll show you that in the night video. There is parking sensors back here. Then we have those design elements as well. These are reflectors, not lights right here. The backup camera, it just looks tacked on down here with the tag in offset position. You know, it definitely could be better, more integrated. They're in the very center in a higher position. All that stuff would be an improvement. To open up the power liftgate, you can of course use the key, or you can press this button here in the center. Now it has this plastic underside here, and it has this light in which it has a switch. You can have it turn on with the door, or you can have that feature off. And I'm going to do a night video so we can see how well this works here, this light. So here's a shade, and it's kind of like a two-piece shade. It has this one that retracts like so, and then it has this little flappy one here in the back. It just kind of props up there. I don't know about that. I'm not sure what the purpose, why it has to have two pieces there, because those seats don't recline or anything. They're just kind of fixed in place. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly what the purpose of that is. But you can of course take this shade out. You can also flip it back out of your way, but it does kind of get in the way a little bit because it's not all the way back. It's kind of in that middle position. If you have the seats occupied with passengers, this will be your cargo space, which is pretty darn good. It has just a really wide, like from here to here, is very wide and open. So, you know, putting a large box or something in here should be no problem. There is a subwoofer here on the right side. There's bag holders, tie downs here and in the back as well. You do have the ability to power fold or at least release the second row seats. I'll show you that in a second, so we can add to the cargo space. There's a 12-volt power supply here, more bag holders. Little open space right here. There's tie downs here on that side as well. This one has like a topographical map type mat back here. It's kind of thin and light. Under that is a underfloor storage in this like styrofoam compartment. And then under that is the spare tire and tools. These seats fold down in a 60-40 split, so you can add to your cargo space. So let's go ahead and fold down the right one using the right side switch. So it's just a little electronic switch. You just pull it and it releases the seat and flops it down. And it does a pretty good job of lowering it. It's just the front seats, if they're in the way, if they're too far back, then it'll just basically hit the back seat, the back of the front seat, and won't go all the way down. But if, like in that case, it just flops all the way down. Make sure there's nothing in the way, nothing breakable, no kids or anything in the way, because it does flap down pretty hard. So now we've added to the cargo space while still maintaining passenger space. If we need to add more space, we just release this one. And I went ahead and pulled the driver's seat up so it wouldn't catch on the seat. And look at there, wide open place here. And it's not quite completely flat, but it is pretty close. It has a little incline there for the seats, but a lot of space back here. So the seat, without pulling it forward all the way to the back here, is about 6 feet, right where the door will close. So yeah, that's a pretty good amount of room. I mean, I'm assuming you can probably put some kind of air mattress or something in here and sleep overnight, because it's just a pretty impressively open space and flat. So I'm assuming maybe that's what it's for. They did a good job with that. Not just cargo, but also, you know, camping out or whatever in here. So the width from that side to this side is just about 44 inches. So there's two buttons to lower the power liftgate. One is to simply just lower it. The other one is to lower it, then completely lock the vehicle after it's lowered. To start it up, as long as you have the key inside the vehicle, just press and hold the brake and press this button. Forward board in front of the driver's seat. Now you notice the floor mat has hooks here to snap it in place, keep it from the floor mat from sliding around, but it also has like a Velcro type effect here on the bottom, so it kind of sticks to the carpet. It doesn't really slide around anyway, but just to be safe, they added those. So there's the accelerator, brake pedal, and a footrest here on the left side, all working good. Let's take a look under the hood. To open the hood, there's a latch a little bit to the right of center, right in here. Just move it to the left, lift up on the hood. It's fairly light hood, doesn't take much effort to lift up, but it does require a prop here. So there's the prop there, it swings up and goes to right where that arrow's pointing. So there's some insulation under the hood. And it looks like somebody's been on a dirt road or taken a little bit off-road here. It's got a little dust and dirt under here. So there's the battery, that's easy to get to. Check out the oil filter. The boxer engines that Subaru has, they're pretty cool the way they're designed, quite a bit different than a lot of other vehicles. So it's a 4-cylinder engine. It has 2 cylinders on each side. So it's like flat. So the cylinders are going this way instead of up and down. And there's 2 going opposing each other. So there's 2 going this way and 2 going that way away from each other. So you can see the lower center of gravity because of this, and also tends to run fairly smooth because everything's opposing each other instead of you know, working to shake the engine and all that stuff. And also, there's another thing I like is it has the intake here on the top of the cylinder heads here, and on the bottom of the cylinder heads is the exhaust at the bottom of the vehicle. So all the heat and everything is dissipated under the vehicle, instead of, like some vehicles will have the exhaust here on the front and it kind of warms up and competes with the cooling system, or it has it in the back where you're adding heat there at the firewall and, you know, adding a little bit of warmth inside the vehicle, you know, and could be competing with the air conditioning. So having this design, I really like the heat dissipation on these boxer type engines. So it is a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine, and it is 180 horsepower at 5,800 RPMs and 178 pound-feet of torque at 37 RPMs. So that's a good mid-range there. Now it's paired to a CVT automatic transmission with the all-wheel drive system that Subaru is known for. And you notice it's kind of like the engine's oriented like a rear-wheel drive vehicle. So the transmission is back this way, and here's the front of the engine, there's the back of the engine, and then there's the transmission. So this one has the blind spot detection system and rear cross traffic alert, and the little indicator is here on the inside of the side mirror housing right there. So some vehicles have them in the mirror, some of them have in the pillar. This one has it right there on the side, which is kind of interesting. I like that because I like when it's not in the mirror, because in the mirror could get mixed up with other lights that get reflected in the mirror. So this heated side mirror is not, doesn't have it in there. Okay, so the inside of the driver's side door is just like the other side, except for it has a few more buttons. And on this side, you can kind of see the topographical map style with some shoe prints there. You see that a little bit better on this side, I guess, because of the lighting. Door switches are here. Front two are automatic, one touch up and down. And it's not laminated, the glass, so it's automatic. The rear glass you do have to hold, and it goes to right there, so it doesn't go all the way down. And door lock controls are there. Side mirrors, you just pick a side by turning it and use that little thing as a joystick to adjust the side mirrors. So the power seat here on the driver's side, basically just like the other side, except for it has a two-way lumbar adjustment added. And once again, these seats are fairly comfortable. Hadn't had any problem with driving it, even for a long period of time. To the left of the steering column, there is a little fuse box holder right here. So something you don't want to really mess with unless you have to, but it's easy to get to fairly. And then there is the ability to open up the power liftgate, dimmer switch for the interior gauges, and then you can actually turn off the power liftgate if you want to turn it off here. Let's say you go into a garage and it has a low ceiling or something, you just don't want to accidentally open it up and power lift it, you can turn that feature off. And then it has a tilt and a telescoping steering column that you lock in place here. I'm sitting in the driver's seat and I'm 6 feet tall. To give you an idea of the potential leg room, I pulled the seat all the way back and all the way down. And you can see there's lots of room. Here to the left, here to the right. Even if my leg didn't touch this, it's kind of soft, but it's so contoured out to where it's not really an issue. They did a good job of contouring the vehicle to match people's, position and everything. Instead of having, it's like some vehicles have this jetting out. It's like, that's where my leg's supposed to go, right? So this is designed to accommodate your leg, which is nice of them to do that. But yeah, I would say that even if you're a little bit over 6 feet tall, shouldn't really have a problem with driving this vehicle, because this is a little bit too far back for me. I do have to pull it up a little bit. Steering wheel is nice. It's wrapped up and it has a stitching there on the inside. It does kind of pop up a little bit, but it's not really a big deal to me. Some people have an issue with the stitching and a feel on leather wrap steering wheels. It does have the heated steering wheel. It has a little switch right here, which will have an indicator light when it's turned on. It's not very bright, but it does tell you that it is turned on. And yeah, liking the steering wheel. It's not super soft or anything, but it does give a little bit in the hand in certain places. It's not bad at all. I like it. So here on the left side, it's the volume for the radio. And then you have the tracks, change to the tracks, change to the audio source. You have two separate buttons for your phone, so you can answer with one button, hang up with the other, and you can also mute with that button as well. This is the voice recognition button, and then this button right here corresponds with the screen. We'll get to that in a second. Here on the right side is the cruise control. Once you turn it on, you can set here. You can turn on or off the lane keep assist system, which works fairly well. It just doesn't have a grip sensor, so you're constantly having to shake the steering wheel if you're not holding the steering wheel tight. And if you are holding the steering wheel tight, then it kind of fights with you, so it's kind of like a catch-22 there. But overall, once you get used to it, the subtleties of it and how to use it and all that stuff, it's okay. It's usable, but it's it could be a little bit better. If it had a grip sensor, it'd be a little bit better. Okay, so it does have the adaptive cruise control, and you can have the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. You can set it, so you can go forward and back, but it doesn't so this would be increasing the distance, and this would be decreasing the distance. So when you hit this button, you're actually going back away from the car. When you're hitting forward, you're actually going away from the car. When you're hitting back, you're actually going forward. So it's a little bit, depending on how you look at it, it's kind of weird. And then this button is like a sport mode and then intelligent drive. So you just, SI drive is what they call it. But it's basically a sport mode and then just a regular mode, basically, is what it amounts to. Windshield wiper controls are here. It does have an automatic function as well. For the front and rear, you can control them there. And then here on the left side is a turn signal, but it also has a headlight switch. It has off, automatic, parking, and headlights. And then fog lights are controlled here. And the gauges are fairly straightforward. You have the regular, traditional gauges. RPM tachometer here on the left side. Engine coolant temperature is on the left side as well. And then you have the fuel gauge here, and then a speedometer. But there in the center, you have a little digital screen that gives you additional information. I like a digital speedometer, me personally, so that's my preference to have it there. Right in the center, you can fairly, it's not too huge or anything, but it could be a little bit bigger, but it's still visible and all that stuff. Okay, so using this button right here, the up and down, you can get more information than this little screen scrolling up and down here. And what's interesting, it has the digital compass and all that stuff, and tire pressure, outside temperature, clock. Then you have your trips. I've been averaging like 29 miles per gallon with this vehicle, so very impressive. I was very impressed with that. Considering the size and the capability of this vehicle, all-wheel drive system and everything, very, very impressed with the fuel economy. That's great. There's a lot of new vehicles that's like they have these little tiny engines and turbocharged and all that stuff, and engines sounds like it's going to jump out of the car trying to accelerate fast and all that stuff, and then it gets bad gas mileage on top of it. It's like, what's going on here? So this one, good gas mileage, 28, 29, very close to 30. Out on the highway, it'd probably, go over 30. So yeah, very impressed with the fuel economy. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward here. It's just a little bit of additional information there. You can reset the trip using this button as well. Okay, so this screen is, they've had this screen for a little while now, and it's pretty interesting. Once you get used to it, it's good. It has some information here at the top that's separate. It has this little banner. Make sure the air's not blowing on the camera. So you have this information here at the top, outside temperature, digital clock, the status of your, right now it's paired to the cell phone, and it has the Bluetooth system, and then it has the battery percentage there. And here at the bottom, you can see the center part's disconnected from the top and the bottom. The bottom is the climate control, and you can hit that button, pops up here, and you can make the adjustments. Heated seat control is a 3-stage, high, medium, and low, and off. And then you have the fan speed, and also where you want the air to blow. All that stuff is in this. Heated seat on that side as well. You can pair phones here, hit that and go into the settings, manage your devices. Then you have different user profiles here as well. The stop-start feature, I always turn that off, but that's where to turn it off. You have to do it on the screen. Then you have an auto hold function. Default is off. You can turn it on if you want the vehicle to hold the brake for you when you come to a complete stop. You also get information about the vehicle here. This is your different settings, and it's categorized here at the top. Go back to your home button, and this is where you'll find these tiles similar to like a cell phone. And there's different media sources, Bluetooth, USB, iPod, phone, auxiliary input. And then the radio is separate. And it has AM, FM, and satellite radio. And then your presets and all that stuff's here. Look at the navigation map. And you can expand it a little bit. It just basically shows the sky. But it does, make it more focused on the map, I guess. You can have a 3D or you can have 2D. You can pop up the menu here, and you can search and all that stuff, add to your favorites and all that stuff. Go into your settings as well. Let's go back to the home screen. You have the different apps here: Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and Travel Link, which is very handy. Now the My Subaru, this is an app on your cell phone, so if you want to connect that, you can. Just make sure you read the user and privacy notices and all that stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much how it works. It's pretty basic. You have this disconnected from this, and this is separate from this. You You have a row of tiles here, and then you have the climate control at the bottom. Once you get used to it, it's not a big deal at all. So you have the auxiliary input USB-A and USB-C ports here. There is a wireless charger here, but in practice, haven't really had very good luck with this particular one because it's not very rubberized. It's very smooth plastic. So as I'm driving, my cell phone with the case on it doesn't always charge when I put it on there. So I was like, I got an idea. I'll take the case off, you know. And I put this phone there, and it just slides all over the place because this isn't rubberized, and it's like a smooth. There's just like there's no place for it to stay, you know, and it's not rubberized. So basically, the phone just slides all over the place and doesn't charge anyway. So yeah, I think that if they were actually used this wireless charger before they shipped the vehicle out, I think they would have seen that, because I like the first 5 minutes of driving the vehicle, it became a big deal. So it seems like they just slapped this in there without actually trying it out, or they thought this was going to be a more aggressive rubber on it. It has like a tiny little bit of rubber feel to it, but it's not enough to actually keep things from sliding around. It's very slick, really. So yeah, that's a big failure right there. It's just ridiculous that is designed that way. But yeah, I'm sure maybe there's a way, maybe there's some thing, you know, some solution for that. But yeah, as it is, it's pretty much worthless. It's just a exercise in frustration, really. Okay, so here is the shifter, and let's go ahead and put it in reverse so you can see the backup camera. So you can see this camera is the position of it. Remember I mentioned when we were looking at the back of the vehicle, it's down there next to the tag and it's offset. And so you can see that it's kind of in this spot where you have this tunnel vision, you know, and it's trying to give you this wide view to give you more visibility, but at the same time the vehicle's getting in the way. And also the clarity isn't all that great. The resolution isn't good. You know, this backup camera could definitely be improved, you know. Starting with the position of it. The position would help out a lot if it was in a better position. And of course, you know, higher resolution. Plus you have this huge screen, and and it's kind of like you're utilizing only a small portion of it. So yeah, the whole camera system could definitely be improved. And also it being offset, so you see more of this side of the tag than this. So we're not even looking at the center of the vehicle here. It's like in this offset position, so it's hard to judge where the end of the vehicle is. These lines are supposed to line up with the vehicle, but I'd have to test those. They sure don't look like it, you know. So it does have the active guidelines here, so I would have to actually test those with some kind of road cones or something, because they, you know, an offset vehicle like that, if it doesn't have a center line that's, you know, showing you, then it's suspect anyway. So yeah, that's another thing that could be improved. There's neutral, drive. It does have a manual mode, which you can put it over here in manual mode and then use the ratchet shift. No, you can use the, not ratchet shifter. Some of them have that. This one has a paddle shifters here on the back of the steering wheel. Now, it doesn't have traditional gears. It's a CVT system, but it simulates kind of like gears, but it's actually speed ratio. So you can raise and lower the speed ratios, like if you need engine braking, that kind of thing, going down a hill. You just have some control over the shift points, basically, and it's speed shifts. It's a CVT, so there's no gears. There's no real gears to shift through. Okay, so the electronic parking brake here is here. You just lift it up. It engages the rear wheels, and it has a little indicator light. You just hold the brake to release it. And there's some cup holders here. There's these little arms right there. 12-volt power supply. I like the way, I'm glad it has a little cover, because when it's facing up like that, dust and stuff can get in there. And it has this little pen holder, little cubby right there. It's handy. This armrest is soft and comfortable, and it feels good too. Looks and feels nice. It doesn't slide forward or back or anything. It does lift up, and it stays where you leave it. It doesn't flop down, and it doesn't try to spring up. It just, wherever you let it go, it just stays there. I love that. So bring it up all the way, and then it has this little places for wires to go in and out of the compartment here. And then here's the compartment, and there's no light or anything in there. It does have a felt lining. I got my business cards down in there, so at least the camera can focus on something, because it just looks like an abyss, you know, basically. But yeah, there's no Nothing special in there, just a junk drawer basically. Okay, so the rearview mirror, it's a manual rearview mirror. It's a manual day and night mode. You have some lights here, tap lights. You can have the interior lights turn on with the door or not with using the switch, but it's not illuminated, so you kind of have to squint your eyes and try to figure it out. So this side is off, this side is door. So when you open the door now, it'll turn on the interior lights. There's a place to put your shades in here, and it has like a kind of soft material in there to keep them, you know, I guess to not, they won't scratch, but it's not like it's not like a cushion or anything, but it's pretty good size. You can put some big Hollywood glasses in there. You do have some roadside assistance buttons here as well. The visors have the same cloth material just like the headliner, which is a black cloth. It has a single light and a mirror. There's also, instead of having like it pulls out and slides, it has this extension here. So when we put it right there, it kind of fills in the gap a little bit. There's also a little clip right here for putting a registration or something. Okay, so this sunroof, it has a shade that covers 100% of the light. And it's manual. You can manually open it like so. It goes way up in there if you just want some sun to come in. But let's go ahead and close it. And let's go ahead and slide this open. So if we want to open it up, we can push that. And it not only pulls back the glass, but also the shade at the same time. And we can press it again. So right here, let's press it again. It'll go all the way back, like so. And then when we push forward, it'll pull the shade forward. So even though it's like a manual shade, it's also automatic as well, kind of. So we can manually open it up and close it as well. So looking at the visibility, really good actually. So you have those windows back there, relatively small pillars really, and then the headrests kind of line up with the pillars. And look at that big back glass, so you can see really good back there. Hadn't had any problem with visibility, front, sides, or back really. And of course, has the camera system, parking sensors, rear cross traffic alert, blind spot detection system, all that stuff to help you out as well. The all-wheel drive system by default is really good, but if you're in snow or dirt or deep snow or mud, then it has these settings here that you can change in the X mode. So you basically have the CVT experience, but it does simulate a little bit of gear shifting, which I don't really care for. I prefer, if you're just going to have a CVT, just go with the CVT, you know, raising of the RPMs, holding it until you're at speed, and then you can lower them back down. Because that's the most efficient. That's the whole point of the CVT, is that it doesn't have to shift gears. So when you introduce fake gear shifts, it just kind of diminishes to some degree the efficiency and of the whole system. But, you know, a lot of people prefer to have fake shifts, basically. So I mentioned that the lane keep assist system doesn't have grip sensors. And so if you don't hold the steering wheel when you have the lane keep assist system activated, it's going to bug you and say, hey, you know, you need to hold the steering wheel. But it senses that you're holding the steering wheel based on you basically fighting with the steering wheel. And it does fight with you a little bit. So I wish it did have the grip sensors. It would make the whole lane keep assist system work a lot better than what it does. Which is not a bad thing. I mean, some vehicles are just, the lane keep assist system is so problematic that I just don't even turn it on. This one I'll turn it on and just deal with it, you know. It's not really that big of a deal. I just have to jiggle it, like jiggle the steering wheel a little bit sometimes. So yeah, I've been impressed with Subaru in general lately because their ride quality has been really nice. Has a nice ride quality. You hear a little bit of road noise, a little bit of wind noise. I mean, it is quiet overall, especially if you listen to music or whatever. You don't have to raise your voice while you're having a conversation. It does have a little bit of noise peeking in, but it's not really loud or anything like that. You don't have the loud engine noises or anything. It's just kind of normal driving noises. But yeah, the ride quality is great. When you're in a vehicle that's like really obnoxious with it feels like you're in like you're riding like a mechanical bull, because the suspension system's so annoying, and it's, you know, bouncy, or it's just unnecessarily just bumpy or bouncy or whatever. And then you get in a vehicle with a decent ride quality, you're like, oh, whew, thank God, it's like, it's just a relief, so so yeah, the Subarus have been that, like relief vehicles for the ride quality. And the seat comfort is good. I mean, it's not like excellent or anything, but it's definitely tolerable. But the ride quality is what really makes, for me, this an enjoyable ride. And also, it has this upright, kind of like you're on a, like, I don't know, it kind of has this upright position, and you have good visibility. You have a little bit of lift off the ground so you can see, but then you have these narrow pillars. You have good visibility all the way around. So that's a plus. Now, the vehicle kind of looks like you're on a Japanese safari or something. It has a little bit of that look to it, but it's very practical vehicle. And so on the practical side, it's like, once you understand its value proposition, it's really is nailing it, really. It's not like it's supposed to be a sports car or anything. So I think some people will like the way it looks, some people might not. But as far as just a practical vehicle that gets good fuel economy and comfort, quiet, very usable as far as the cargo space, the passenger space, entering and exiting, there's just no drama whatsoever, really. It's very, very well done vehicle. It's not like cutting edge technology or anything like that. So, that's the plus and minus. Like some people don't want the cutting edge because they don't know how to use it. So, it's a pretty traditional vehicle. So I enjoy driving it, and I think you would too. I think it's one of those vehicles you have to take it for a test drive. If you look at pictures of it and you're like, you're on the fence about the way it looks or whatever, I would take one for a test drive, because it kind of changes your perception a little bit on how you perceive the vehicle, because it's once you experience the positives about it, the actual driving experience is positive, then you may look at it in a different way, a little bit of a different light. Yeah, highway driving is a breeze. So yeah, I wouldn't mind driving, even long distance, really. I mean, even though the seat could be a little bit more comfortable, I would say I would be fine, because you have so much legroom. You can reposition, get in a different position, and just kind of cruising along on the highway. I can go a long distance with a vehicle like this. I would not be I would not hesitate really on this one.